Hello and welcome to Deeper Look. I'm Irani, standing in front of a traditional Japanese soba shop. But this isn't Tokyo. This is Little Tokyo.
It's about autism. It's also about racial profiling. What was it like for you to work on a film like that?
Here in Melbourne, the mood has been very jovial. There has been singing, there has been dancing. In fact, if you just take a look around me, I am surrounded by Indonesians.
So, as we've talked about, relations between Japan and the US are strong right now. But of course, it was a different story 120 years ago.
I wanted to also talk to you about one of your colleagues, a human rights lawyer, Rashid Rehman Khan. He was allegedly gunned down because he was defending a man who was facing blasphemy charges. Do you think that here in Australia we're more open to talking about mental illness? I mean, look, all three of you guys have decided to come on this show today to talk about it, which is fantastic. But do you think as a society that, we're open to discussing this? Data that's out there that suggests that roughly a third of the American public still believe that the 2020 election was rigged.
Hello and welcome to Deeper Look, coming to you from San Francisco, California. For automakers, the question is not whether to compete, but how quickly they can adapt.
Here on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the history of entertainment lies beneath your feet. I'm Irani, coming to you from New York. From bookshelves in Tokyo to a bookstore right here in New York City. India's fruit and veg sold at commonplace markets like this across the country are at the centre of a nationwide debate. How have you coped with the pandemic this year?
My wife hasn't left me yet. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot.
I've got Shah Rukh Khan in the room. Your dance routines are just, well, thank you. Can you show us?
Lungi dance, lungi dance, lungi dance.
Win by one of the biggest margins in general election history in India. What made you decide to leave?
Miss Wadina Sapio is also one of the best known and most talked about people in Malaysia, and she's taken time out of her busy schedule to talk to us today. Assalamualaikum, Miss Wadina Sapio. Thank you for joining us. From all the team here at India Business Report, thanks so much for your company. Have a great week, do some great business. I'm Delnaz Irani, signing out of Mumbai. Bye for now.
Deep in the heart of Mumbai, in Asia's largest slum, the wheels of change are spinning. For 60-year-old Mavjibai, a potter, this slum is his home and workshop. But now all that is about to change. The Indian government wants his home, along with all the other slums in the area, knocked down and redeveloped.
I'm not ready to leave this place. I've lived here my whole life. My workshop's here and it's in the centre of town. I won't leave and go anywhere else.
One of the main reasons Mavjibai doesn't want to leave is because his home is prime, highly expensive real estate located in the heart of Mumbai city. The Indian government wants to transform this expanse of shanty houses into a section of low-cost residential blocks for the slum dwellers and use the remaining land for commercial development.
From that, we go on to our master plan.
The man who drew up the development plans says his vision is to integrate poorer people with mainstream society.
Plan essentially is that we must create a township where you provide all the amenities that any middle income person needs for good living, just like any other middle income community would have.
But out on the streets, there is a lot of confusion about the slum development plans.
Thousands of protesters have gathered here today. They're on a march from one end of the city to another. Now, some of them are political parties, but most of them are residents of Asia's largest slum, Dharavi. As you can hear, they're angry. They want the government to involve them in the slum development programs. They say that their demands have not been met, and until the government sits up and pays attention, these protests will continue.
For the near 1 million people who live in the slums of Dharavi, this way of life is all they've ever known. And moving from here, even if it's to a promise of a better life, will not be an easy task. There could be some time yet before both sides agree on how to move forward, and more importantly, on whose terms to build their future. Sari sizzled on the catwalk, as Mumbai's premier fashion week kicked off. Tradition was in this year. India's top designers took inspiration from their roots to put together a truly homegrown collection.
There are some preconceived notions of India, and hopefully after seeing this collection I've broken the myth, because this is what the Indian woman is all about. There's a strong global side to her, but she's still very grounded and rooted to her tradition.
And the audience seemed to approve. But this year's fashion show was about more than just the local market. Now, more than ever, the world's eyes are feasting on India's fashion industry.
I don't think India is the first sort of port of call when we talk about fashion, but I think there's obviously some potential. I mean, I've come here for that reason, so there is growing interest, and I think there's big things to come out of this country.
Getting people talking about Indian fashion is exactly what the organisers of Mumbai's Fashion Week were hoping to achieve.
Behind all the glamour at this year's Fashion Week, there's almost an excitable frenzy in the air. Even at the rehearsals behind me, organisers are making sure that no detail is left unattended to, as this year's Fashion Week is special. It's a celebration of 10 years of Indian fashion and just how far the industry has come.
Even so, experts agree, India's fashion industry still has a way to go if it is to rival international markets like the US or Europe. But at least for one spectacular week, a celebration of 10 years, over 50 designers, and everything from the traditional to the provocative was on display, as Mumbai's premier fashion week went off without missing a step. Well, almost. Dalnaz Irani, BBC News, Mumbai. Packing a powerful punch. 17-year-old Vikas Krishnan is no lightweight. That might be his boxing category, but he's hitting hard out for a future Olympic medal.
Come on. This sponsorship is very important for me. First of all, they give me the best training I had seen ever in India. They give me the best coaches. This sponsorship also helps me to go to the foreign and train with the different kind of opponents. I don't think that I will be able to do so without this sponsorship.
Boxing is one of the few events that stole some of the spotlight at the Beijing Olympics last year. But it's still well behind India's #1 sport.
In the fight for sponsorship money, there's only one heavyweight champion, and that's India's most popular sport, cricket. It dominates the airwaves and gets over 90% of all sponsorship money, which means for small sports like boxing, it's a knockout blow.
Broadcaster Near Sports generates over 90% of its revenue from cricket coverage. In fact, they have a 24-hour channel dedicated to the sport.
To put it in perspective, if I'm able to get 400,000 rupees per 10 seconds on a live cricket match of India, typically non-cricket advertising will go between 5,000, maybe 10,000 at best. It won't cross 10,000.
Building up the popularity of the other sports will be a tough task. The Indian government's $370 million investment in the Commonwealth Games may help draw some attention to other smaller sports. But experts say if they're to compete for sponsor money, then a convincing longer-term plan must be drawn out.
What is needed, like for any other business, if you take, is a very clear roadmap of where your sport is going to go. Once you have that plan clear, you will have sponsors supporting that plan.
Competing for sponsorship money could get dirty, as smaller sports have a lot to prove. For most of these kids, a friendly game may never be anything more than just a hobby. But if smaller sports are developed, it could provide professional opportunities for them and a boost to India's sporting future.
This is the magnificent coastline of Roebuck Bay in Broome, Western Australia. It's beneath these waters that the perfect conditions are created for one of Australia's most prized ocean gems, the pearl. At present, the Australian South Sea pearl industry is estimated to be worth around $150 million. That's around half of what it was at its peak in 2009. The once booming industry was hit by mystery oyster disease, the ravages of the global financial crisis, and competition from China. For example, a necklace of 55 Chinese freshwater pearls was listed on eBay for $2.79. Compare that to Australian South Sea pearls that can fetch up to $30,000 each at wholesale prices. In the centre of Broome, I met up with James Brown, a third-generation pearl farmer who runs Signet Bay Pearls.
Come in.
Signet Bay Pearls, like some of their competitors, have adopted a paddock-to-plate model, or in this case, a shell-to-showroom scenario. In their retail showroom in Broome's town centre, James shows me how they provide an educational and interactive experience for those consumers who can't get to the farm.
Is that the pearl right there?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Well, I wish.
Look, to the untrained eye,
Exactly.
this experience itself is pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
It might not be $100,000 worth of pearl, but
Approximately 25% of the seeded oysters will not have a pearl in it, and of the remaining 75%, fewer than half the pearls may be saleable. But for the ones that do hit the market, converting this highly customised shopping experience into a sale is critical in helping the pearl industry get back its lustre. Irani, ABC News, Broome.